Hi YouTube! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma and I create art videos. So today's video is a special one. I had a lot of fun creating this piece of art and it was for somebody special in my life, my mum. It is for her birthday. So I actually put a lot of effort and love into this piece. As I do with all of my other art pieces, I always put love and effort into them, but this one was extremely special and extreme amount of efforts were put in. So it is an A3 piece, which is a little bit larger than what I usually work on. I do A3, but it's usually not watercolor. So this is a watercolor pencil mixed media piece. And you will see the whole process. Let's go check it out. So altogether, I think this piece took me about 2.5 hours or so, and it is, as I said, it is A3, so it is quite large, and I did the sketch, which you can see me doing now. So I did all of the sketching prior to recording this video, so it actually probably took longer than 2.5 hours because the actual footage is 2.5 hours, so but yes, so all up probably closer to 3.5 hours, but that's fine. That's like the average sort of time that I would like to spend on this sort of piece. And I thought I would include a little bit more footage in this video that is real time. So I may cut out a little bit of pieces here and there, and I'd really like to know what you think about that when you watch it, whether you prefer seeing the entire process rather than me choosing which parts you see, because I want to be very transparent and show you that I actually did create the entire piece of artwork, which is the main reason I think I don't do that at the moment. Like, I put everything in so that you can be like, oh yeah, she did actually do all of that. But I think you guys trust me enough to know that I don't have like a little elf sitting here that's like doing some of my artwork for me. It is all done by me, so I don't even know why I worry about that. You know, some people stress about these silly little things, and I think that's just one of those things that's just always bothered me, and I need to get over that. So I will insert here a couple of pictures that I've used as reference, and I literally just searched on Pinterest, so if I can find the links I will put them down below, but you'll see the images pop up here in just a second. You'll see in the first picture is the reference image I used for the whales. Whales are not something I'm used to drawing, so this was specifically for their pose. The next picture was specifically for the trees and kind of on a island sort of setting, then the sunset colors, and the last reference was for the plant life. So that is mainly what I use those references for, just for the generalized shapes of things. So you can see now I'm filling in all of the line art for the trees, and I actually really like the way that the line art turned out at the end, and it kind of gets to that point, I don't know whether you do it too, but you're kind of like, maybe I'll just leave it. I don't think it needs color. Let's just call this a final piece, and we're just going to leave it here because I really like it and I don't want to destroy it with color. So I made sure I took a photo of it because I don't have a scanner big enough at this stage to just scan in the line work. Otherwise, I would have loved to put this up as like a coloring piece or something like that. So if that's something you guys are interested in seeing in the future, let me know, because I will endeavor to scan in everything before I do it so that I can put up some like free line art for you guys to color in, because that would be really, really cool. And I also wanted to mention before I get into today's topic is I actually planned this picture out. A lot of the time I will kind of just wing it, and that's very much me. I kind of just put my pen on the paper and just see where it goes. A lot of the time I don't even sketch, to be honest. I just kind of put a shape down in pencil and kind of just do all of the detail in permanent marker or ink or pen, and don't plan it. But with this piece, as you'll see in just a second, I actually did little thumbnails, and you can see the large sketch on the right hand side of where I wanted everything to be, and that's my original sketch. And then I did all of these little thumbnails on the left hand side where I actually did I think they're called color compositions. I never actually learnt this in school. It's just what I've learnt from different YouTubers. So what I have put down is like all of the colors and where I want them to be roughly, so that I know that it's going to work well together. And I actually did this for my mermaid piece as well, not that long ago, which was for my mum as well, and I made sure that all of the colors worked really, really well together. And I'm so glad that I did that for that other piece, because the colors that I was going to put down didn't actually work very well together. So that's why I did it for this piece, and the first colors that I chose were the colors that I wanted to use, so that's why I don't do this very often, but it is definitely a good idea. This is the finished line art before I started adding color to it, and then I start going in with my masking fluid. So a lot of the time, if I'm doing a quick piece, I won't use masking fluid. Even if it is a final piece, I don't know, I feel like it takes a lot of time to put down. Sometimes it's a bit sticky, icky, doesn't work properly. Like, I don't know, but I think that it was definitely a necessity in this piece, especially because it's so large and I was doing washes over the background for the colors. I think it was definitely a good idea to use the masking fluid, so I'm happy that I did that. And then once I've put the masking fluid over, I then start in with my watercolors. So you can see I'm using the Sakura Koi watercolor palette that you can see on the left there. And that is the watercolors that I use for the entire piece. And then I go in with my Col-erase, not Col-erase, what are they called? Prismacolor pencils at the end to give it a little bit more vibrancy and things like that. I think I use a couple of Derwent pencils as well. You'll also see for the whales, I do actually use some black ink. I'm pretty sure I do. And that is just because I find that it's more opaque and more pigmented than the watercolors. So I do use a little bit of ink in this as well. But you'll see once I finished all of the background washes, I actually rub all of the masking fluid off and then start coloring in the rest of the scene. So I wanted to actually have a chat about something in this video, and that was, is it okay to use reference? So I know that there are a lot of people that do use reference already and love using it and have always used it. I was one of those people. Okay, so I've been through a few different stages, right? When I first started drawing, this is back in like grade 3, I probably would have been, well, I was drawing well before that, but this is like my first actual memory of me drawing something. I was in grade 3, so I probably would have been like, I think, what are you, like 8 around then? I think 8 years old. And I vividly remember that we had this journal that we needed to fill in every day, and it was like a visual diary. We got to write down our thoughts and feelings, and the teacher said that like you can draw in it if you want to, as long as you've got some writing as well. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm going to draw, and I want to draw cartoon characters. I want to draw Tassie Devil, and I want to draw Mickey Mouse, and they were the drawings that I would draw in there. But I would find a picture somewhere in our classroom, like of a book or a picture that was on the wall or something like that. And I would sit there and look at it and draw it directly onto my page. Now, I know this is copying, like, come on guys, I was 8. Like, it was a pretty good effort to make it look similar to the picture that I was drawing in the beginning. But I remember them looking identical. And like, even going back when I was a bit older and looking back at those pictures, like, they were really good. And that was because I was using a reference. I was drawing from something that I was actually looking at. And I can still do that really well. Like, I've had years and years and years of practice of drawing something to make it look exactly the same way that it looks. And that is copying. And I'm not saying to copy people's art. I'm saying that it is definitely a good practice method, and it will definitely teach you a lot. Nowadays, what I do and the way that I use that skill is that I actually, like those trees, for example, I've used the shape that was in the reference for the trees because I am not very good at drawing trees, or I don't, like, I can look at a tree outside and be like, oh yeah, cool, draw it. Off the top of my head, I can't think of what a tree looks like, even though I see them every day. Like, it's not something I think about. So that is why I used reference, and that's for the shapes. It's the same with the whale. I've never seen a whale in wildlife. Like, I've seen them at the aquariums and things like that, but it's not something that you see every day or every year. Like, it's very rare, and this particular whale I don't think I've ever seen. So that's why you use a reference picture for it, so that you know what it's supposed to look like. And then obviously, like, you take your own spin off the picture so that you can use that one section of the reference and then join it in with another one, or join it in with multiple references like what I've done for this picture. So the original idea is still my own. It's still, like, as much as you might go, oh yeah, those whales are exactly the same as that reference picture, every other aspect of the picture is different. So I didn't copy the trees, I didn't copy the landscape, anything like that. I'm rambling now. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but the whole point is, I think that it is okay to use reference pictures as long as you're not copying them. If you're copying them for practice, go for it. Keep it in your sketchbook. Make sure you reference the artist. Like, it's always a really, really good idea to reference the artist or the link where you got the picture, so you can go back to it if you need to, or you can give credit to those artists. And that's why I put the reference pictures in this video, so you can actually see where they came from. But yeah, and it's also good if you're trying to practice a particular style to, like, copy it from different artists. It's a different way of growing. So I know that everybody has a very different and particular view on using references and whether it's copying and things like that. And I think depending on how you do it, then it's really, really good to use references. A lot of the time I don't use a reference, and I'm like, oh, what is wrong with this piece of artwork? I could have done this so much better. Why isn't it looking the way I want it to? And you actually look at a photo of something that it's supposed to be, like for a tree, for example, and you're like, the trunk doesn't actually flow in that direction. If you look at the way that it's growing, it actually, most of it's underground, and that's why it looks stupid on my piece of paper. Like, it's just little things that you sort of don't pick up on, or you think you know in your mind, but you don't really know. So they're the sorts of things that reference pictures definitely help with. So back to the actual artwork, you can see I have now filled in everything with all of the color. I have also gone over with all of the colored pencils to give it a bit more depth, and you can see the texture that it creates in the background as well, and I really, really like that. I also then just went over every outline again that I needed to with the black marker, because it just helped bring that back a little bit, because I know that once you put paint over the top of it and then you put pencils over the top of it, it can mask it a little bit, and I don't like that. So I make sure that I have the line art still visible. And then I just went over with a white jelly roller around the edges just to make it all pop off the page a little bit more. And then my favorite part is removing the masking tape. So that's what you can see me doing now. As I said, I did cut out a fair bit of footage from this video, so if you think that I cut out too much, or there were certain parts that you would have preferred to see rather than others, please do let me know, because I'm really interested in that sort of thing, because I want to make these videos enjoyable for you guys to watch. But yes, that is pretty much everything that I have to say about this piece of artwork. I am so happy with it, and I am definitely going to frame it. So as soon as I have it framed, I will make sure I put a photo of that up on my Instagram. So if you want to check that out, make sure you go and follow me on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have any tips or tricks or anything that you love about this piece, anything that you want to see in the future, let me know down below. Otherwise, give this video a big thumbs up for me and subscribe to my channel if you want to join the family. I will see you in the next video. Thanks guys. Bye.